Welcome to the Northern Pine and SofaBed Centre's sale of the season. You won't lose sleep over the Kensington SofaBed and recliner, a real gift at £499. Or the Grosvenor 3-seat settee bed, armchair and recliner, just a sweet £649. Browse through the Pine Centre. You'll find a fabulous choice of solid pine furniture in 5 beautiful finishes. Remember, for Pine SofaBed, personal service and great value, you can't afford to miss our sale of the season. Now on at the Northern Pine and SofaBed Centre, Rudley Lane, Bradford, 2 minutes from the M606.
The name's Joe Jones, I'm a fucking so-and-so. Guess that's why they call me Justo. My car's gotta have plenty of go. Go, man, go. What a girl's gotta have is. Hello, hello, hello. So give me any kind of trip. You won't make a racket. Just as long as it says. Walkers on the packet. That's just cooked cake. Take it away, fellas. Don't you insist on Walker's kiss? All together now.
Save pounds at Time Furnishing. Everything's been reduced for massive sale time savings. Don't miss the bargains. Don't miss sale time. Now on.
You and all are doing £10 off a paint grade hardwood door, £5 off pine or mahogany effect bathroom scale, and £2 off a red or beige 50-litre Clover bin. And that's not all you get from Do It All. Everywhere there's a household Do It All idea.
We really ought to go more often.
Here, Brian, I can smell gas.
I'll open the window.
I'll turn it off at the moment.
Hello, gas emergency service. We've got a gas leak.
No!
Even a light switch turned on or off can ignite escaping gas. See our advertisement in the papers. It could save your life.
Mrs. Thomas has a very sore throat.
It's very painful. I tried everything.
Now there's something new from Vicks Chloraseptic. It's so fast it'll start to work before we can finish this commercial.
I doubt it. A spray.
Chloraseptic spray action gets to work right where it hurts, right away. It contains a really fast-acting painkiller. But can it start to work before this commercial ends? Mrs. Thomas?
What? Amazing. Please, those pyjamas are filthy. Anyway, these are your favourites.
Mum, but where does it come from?
Look, Robert, these will need a stove.
But, and the bus is coming at 3. Well, I'm not going then.
Come on. What's the problem, Robert?
Dad, I can't wear these.
Take your others.
Mum says they're dirty.
Oh.
Okay. One wash, and it might not be enough.
If she uses an ordinary biological powder, one wash may not be enough. But let's go back and start again. With bold, boosted biological power, stains like blackcurrant juice disappear first time, more of the time.
Robert, there you go. All clean. Sausage bunny rabbit too.
Mum.
Have a good time, son.
Bye, Robert. Beep, beep, beep.
Bowl 3. Cleans first time, more of the time.
The big sale is at Clover. Big bargains and big choice. Yes, the big Clover sale is now on. If you don't want to pay more than you have to, be there.
Merry Christmas. And if you need an electrician, a dentist, or if you've got it technician, you need a vet, ring Yorkshire Television Christmas Line. They'll be here 24 hours a day to help you.
YTV Christmas Line, only 748
Now on YTV in just about 5 minutes, there's the best of Walt Disney's true life adventures. That's after the 12:30 news from ITN.
The news from ITN.
The dollar dived in the Far East and in Europe. The dollar got off to a shaky start on the European foreign exchanges this morning after record post-war lows in Tokyo overnight. Against the pound, the dollar was trading at 1.8640, down 3 cents since Christmas Day.
The city is preparing itself for a shock when trading begins again tomorrow. While market makers have been enjoying the Christmas holiday, their counterparts in Tokyo have been watching further crashes in share values and falls in the dollar. In the 3 days of trading since Christmas Eve, the Japanese share index has fallen by 4.5%. and despite intervention from the Bank of Japan, the dollar's been in free fall too. Traders there don't believe the Americans will jump in to support it. This morning, in quiet trading, European central banks have been doing their best to shore up the battered dollar, but all eyes will turn to see which way Wall Street goes when it opens this afternoon. On the first day of the crash in October, London saw almost no activity because of the hurricane that hit the southeast. It caught up with the rest of the world when it reopened on Black Monday. The city is hoping that tomorrow proves less traumatic.
President Regan has called on the Soviet Union to end its occupation of Afghanistan in 1988. It followed a Soviet claim that government troops had broken the siege of Khost, the border city rebel troops had held for 8 years, and reopened road links to the provincial capital of Gardez.
The Russians have been battling to break the siege of Khost ever since they first marched into Afghanistan 8 years ago. A garrison town in a region controlled by Afghan rebels, it's important tactically and symbolically to both sides. The Russians have been showing American film of the fighting on Moscow TV news bulletins. They claim they've broken through. The rebels admit there is some truth in that claim, but say Soviet forces are still 6 miles from the actual town. Russian television last night carried a report from Kabul showing state security agents discovering a cache of arms intended, the report said, for use in an attack today on the Soviet embassy in the city. Otherwise, the streets of the capital appeared quiet on this anniversary of the occupation. In the world's capitals, though, Afghan exiles took to the streets in their thousands, here in Islamabad, calling for an end to Soviet intervention in Afghanistan.
A teacher from Suffolk has been sentenced to death in Burma for getting his Burmese cook to kill his wife. Thomas Andrew Kirkpatrick and the cook were found guilty of murder by Insane Township Court. Mrs. Kirkpatrick died 2 weeks after she arrived in Rangoon to join her husband, who was teaching English there. Lawyers are to appeal and say that in the last 40 years, the death sentence has been carried out on only one foreigner. Christmas helpline set up by 3 London independent television and radio companies has been swamped by calls.
The staff of volunteers at Christmas Line have been rushed off their feet, fielding as many as 5,000 calls a day since the lines opened on Christmas Eve. Most of the calls have been requests to find doctors, dentists or chemists to cope with the inevitable domestic crises that crop up over the festive season. But skilled professional advice has also been on hand from the Samaritans to help the hundreds of people who can't cope with the loneliness and depression that also comes for many at Christmas.
We've had a lot of people calling us because they're having a rather miserable time at Christmas. I think there's a general myth that everybody enjoys themselves at Christmas, which is quite untrue. We have a lot of support from Samaritans, and we have Samaritans volunteers in the city all the time. And they will take those calls and talk to the person as long as it's necessary to reassure them and to comfort them.
Not all the calls have been so serious, though. One man called in to find out where he could buy spare parts for a helicopter on Christmas Day. Another to find out how he could feed his Christmas present, a pet lobster. David Chater, ITN, Central London.
Yachting in the Sydney to Hobart Ocean Classic, Australia looked like taking first and second places. The Australian Maxi Sovereign, which is leading the 630-mile race, began on Boxing Day. She's being chased by Australian yacht Gazebo, which is damaged, but won't beat the race record of 2 days, 14 hours, 36 minutes set 12 years ago. The Sydney Hobart is the last in the series race for the Southern Cross Cup. Australia is leading the series with New Zealand in second place. And that's it. We're back again with more news and a full roundup of the day's soccer results at 10 to 5.
Here's another warm forecast for the region. We'll have a mild, though mostly cloudy afternoon with occasional rain or drizzle, most persistent over the Dales, with coastal areas of Lincolnshire and Norfolk staying mostly dry. The temperature near 13 centigrade, that's 55 Fahrenheit all day, and it will feel very mild despite the fresh, locally strong southwesterly winds. Little change is expected this evening and overnight, though some more general rain is expected to move south across the region in the early hours of tomorrow morning. That's the end of the weather forecast. And over on Channel 4 now, there's coverage of racing from Kempton Park, introduced by Bruce Scott. Here on Yorkshire Television, it's time for the best of Disney's True Life Adventures.